Now you see why Stephen A. Smith was in the polls as a presidential candidate? See what I'm talking about? You see that idiocy right there? You talk about something, people being tone deaf. Why the hell would 22 Democratic senators be literally echoing the same thing and think that would resonate with the American people? All it shows is that the same fabric of our democracy is unchanging in the eyes of some of these officials, and as a result, the constituency they represent, which is why Donald Trump is in office. What, do I have to come up to Capitol Hill and give you lessons? Seriously, you don't get it? All you did, Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Chuck Schumer. Let's all get together. Let's put this in a prompter, and all together, albeit in separate rooms, we'll grab a microphone and say the same damn thing. And that's what's going to resonate with the American people. And then you wonder why you're no longer in power. You wonder why Trump is in the White House.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think Stephen A. Smith is Democrats' last chance, last hope, actually. I'm not saying he needs to run, but I think if Democrats actually started listening to Stephen A. Smith, who I think is a leftist that's closer to the center than any public speaking person who's openly supported the Democratic Party I've ever seen, and he's willing to criticize them, which I think is what Democrats need. Democrats are surrounded in an echo chamber by a bunch of ideologues who are just nothing more than yes men. As you saw from my first video of the day, we went over Trump's speech. And yes, I didn't talk about the serious stuff like the tariffs and all that stuff, but we already know those accomplishments. I already did a video on those accomplishments. You already know what he went. The social stuff was some of the most important stuff I think Trump could have said during his speech. And the Democrats, how they show up with a little paddle with political slogans. You saw I showed up with the intro of this video, how Stephen A. Smith is calling them out. Like, yo, you guys come across as fake. You look like idiots. This looks tone deaf. Are you actually talking to regular Americans? And this is what leads me to understand why they have such a low approval rating. Because Democrats are the party of insanity. They're the party who defies reality. I mean, this is the party that support men who think men can be women, men can be attacked helicopters. So it's no surprise that this party is insane. But damn, give me something. And I think what is a defining moment for the Democratic Party is that nobody likes them, it seems like. Even Democrats don't like Democrats right now. I think 49%. If you don't believe me, check this confrontation from Jake Tapper confronting a Democrat on their unpopularity. Let's take a look.
The Democratic Party, your party, has a huge problem. The latest Quinnipiac University national poll finds that only 21% of the American people approve of the job that congressional Democrats are doing. Even more striking is that 49% of Democrats disapprove of what Democrats in Congress are doing. How is your party getting it this wrong?
Well, let me just say this. I will push back on what you just said for this reason. The fact of the matter is there is broad dissatisfaction and unhappiness and distress, and I understand all of it. And I agree that all of us have more work to do, but be clear. The people who are in control right now are the Republicans. They have control of the Senate, they have control of the House, and they have the White House. And so the people who are really enacting this pain on the American people are not the Democrats. Now, we have a job to do, but I think it is really important that right now the people who should be held to account are also my colleagues in the Republican Party who have been complicit with this. The ones who know better, see better, and I think it's really important for them to continue to speak up. There are so many opportunities for that to happen. But the Democratic Party is not what's causing the pain that we're seeing. It is the leader of the Republican Party who is right now, who is unfit, who is callous, and who has done nothing to support the average American family.
I'm not suggesting Democrats are responsible. I'm just saying you have historically low approval rating.
Stephen A. Smith may not be no conservative, but I honestly believe that he is, I'll say, a 90s Democrat, right? The Bill Clinton kind of Democrat, right? He wants them to win, right? And if you want a team to win, right? Like your coach, if you ever played sports, your coach is because sometimes be your harshest critic, but it's because he wants you to be a better player because therefore it will help the team become a better team, a stronger team. And I think this is what Stephen A. Smith is doing. Stephen A. Smith is actually trying to help the Democratic Party, but Democrats and people of their ilk and their yes men on the media don't want to hear it. And here, this clip here is an example of that. Hopefully, I don't get copyrighted. If so, I don't give a damn. I'll still probably keep the video up. But I think it needs to be said that Stephen A. Smith, Democrats, he actually have your best interest at heart. If I'm speaking as an independent, right? But if I put my conservative hat on, what Stephen A. Smith is doing, I'm concerned about. I'm like, damn, hey, yo, he really trying to help this party correct their messaging. He's gonna put the midterms in doubt if they actually take his advice. But I know confidently over just observing Democrats for the last 16 years, I know, yo, these people don't change. These people are arrogant. Democrats are condescending and delusional. I mean, look at some of their pundits. Their pundits talk as if they know everything and they don't know nothing. I don't know how many times I review on this channel Scott Jennings checking these leftists before Abby Phillips comes save them. I know these people. These people are blind to criticism. When they hear criticism, they think it's because they think it's racism. They cry sexism. You tell them that, oh, you picked Kamala Harris was the worst choice ever, they'll call you a sexist racist. They'll tell you that Kamala Harris did everything perfect. Kamala Harris did everything perfect, spent $1.2 billion, put herself $20 million in debt to get landslided in an election in the Electoral College and lose the popular vote for the first time in 20 years. And you think she ran a perfect campaign. That's the left right now. And Stephen A. Smith is giving them a reality check that they need. They desperately need. Especially when you saw how they conducted themselves during Trump's joint address to Congress. But I digress. Let's take a look at this segment.
His so-called landslide and blowout win. But he won the popular vote by 1.5%, one of the smallest ever, and he won the general election by less than 50%. So what kind of mandate is this really?
When a basketball team wins a game by 1 point, they still win the game. I scored more points than you. Fact. I have the popular vote. Fact. But you're using that to justify what? To stay the same? You lost. That's the result. You lost. And the fact that you lost means you need to change something. But the Democrats don't take it that way. They need to protect their fragile egos. But I digress.
Well, it is a mandate, and I'm going to explain why. And I don't mind the question, but let me be very clear. I'm no supporter of Trump. I'm a supporter of truth and the facts. And here's the facts. The man won every swing state. He increased in terms of his voter turnout in his favor from the standpoint of blacks, Latinos, and young voters. He increased his numbers in that regard from 2020. 89% of
only Democrat making sense right now.
The counties shifted to the right. That's a mandate. We can sit up there and play around all we want to. In 2020, Trump didn't win the popular vote. He didn't win the Electoral College vote. A matter of fact, the Republicans hadn't won the popular vote, if I remember correctly, since 2004. Yeah. But they did this year. So 20 years after they last won the popular vote, they won the popular vote. They won the Electoral College vote. The man won every swing state. And on top of it, 89% of the counties shifted against.
But you want to focus on the fact that he only got 1% more of the popular vote than you do when that doesn't decide the election. That's a nice to have. That's something that Democrats start taking. Like, the popular vote is nothing more than a liberal kind of metric that they use to judge elections, right? Because they know they got the population. Some of the biggest population vote Democrat, overwhelmingly Democrat. So this is why they care about the popular vote. But I bet you if it was the norm for Republicans to win the popular vote, that you wouldn't be hearing them making this mess. And this is why they want to abolish the Electoral College, because they know it's in their favor. Everything's political for the Democratic Party, if you haven't realized by my channel now, that they do all these things to gain leverage, to set the game in their favor. That's how I see the Democratic Party. This is why they got all these slush funds from the government sending money to their NGOs, their left-wing nonprofits to sprout left-wing ideology. This is why they like to use the people's money to fuel their own ish. But I digress.
I don't understand how people can look at that and say, there's no mandate. There's a mandate.
Well, it's a different definition of a mandate, I guess.
But the problem is that if you're the Democratic Party and you lost 49.8% to 48.3%, and you're looking at that 1.5% dip, that's an excuse for you to say, what we did really wasn't that bad.
Some people didn't
we
show
should
up.
continue to do that.
Do you think
No,
that those-
don't continue to do that.
do you
Find a
think
new
that-
strategy.
Exactly. You're finding justifications. You're using that.
He's been going
This is why
around
they
with his
focus.
cronies touting his.
This is why they focus so much on the popular vote, because they don't want to look at the other metrics where it would have forced them to change. You lost every swing state. Minority voters who you assume will go towards the Democrats went historically towards the Republicans. 80% of the electorate shifted more, lean more right than they ever did in the past election. 80%. And you don't think you need to change your strategy? You don't think you need a different approach? And this is why many Democrats, I believe, are frustrated with the Democratic Party. They think doing the same old ish, doing the same old thing is going to give them a different result. They think crying about Trump the umpteenth time is going to change America's mind. We had 8 years of you complaining, demonizing, calling Trump Hitler, calling Trump fascist, calling Trump. We had 8 years of you calling Donald Trump names, and we still voted for him. What that tells you, name calling Donald Trump don't work. But y'all still haven't woken up yet. I don't know. But, I digress. I think I said enough. I think Stephen A. Smith is Democrats' only hope at this point. A sports commentator. Imagine that. Who do politics as a second thing. Has more insights on the sentiment of the American people than people who supposedly is their job to understand the sentiments of the American people. Make it make sense, but hey, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd like to hear your ideas, your thoughts, your perspectives on the state of the Democratic Party. Do you agree with Stephen A. Smith's angle, attack lines, highlighting what's wrong with the Democratic Party? Do you agree with his critiques of the Democratic Party? I think a lot of people across the political aisle agree with Stephen A's critiques of the Democratic Party. But I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this video if you feel so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.